Hey guys, and welcome back to part 3 of creating stroke animations for day to night scenes using Adobe After Effects. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how we can adjust our background image into more of a nighttime atmosphere than the original daytime one. So this is the image that we started off with, and this is what we're going to turn it into. So this is where we left off at the end of the last tutorial, having animated our video. The first thing that we want to do to adjust the background of this image is to drag our background layer to the bottom of the layer stack in the composition timeline, and then duplicate that using the Control D or Command D on Mac. From there, we'll then go into that top background layer under the Mode tab and change that to Overlay. Again, with that top layer selected, we'll go into the top ribbon and select Effect, Color Correction, and add a Curves modifier. Under the Curves modifier panel, I'll just grab this toggle on the right hand side and drag it down to about halfway. And then we'll go back into the Color Correction tab under the Effects panel and add a Hue and Saturation modifier. Under Hue and Saturation, we'll switch on Colorize and adjust our color hue values until we get a color we want. In this case, as we're going to a night scene, I'm going to select something that's like a blue color. I'll go down and make a further adjustment by adjusting here the Colorize Saturation tab. And then add to this further by adding a tint modifier on top. This scene darker than we can see here, the next thing that I'm going to do is copy our curve modifier across to our first layer of our background edits. And then I'll just make sure that I've got both layers selected here, and then go up into the layer panel. Down the bottom there's a toggle called Pre-Compose, which will combine them together, and press OK. Back in the timeline here, I'm just going to go to add a new adjustment layer and drag that just directly over our combined layers there. Then using the pen tool, I'm going to start tracing a path around the bottom of the building. I'll also add a curves modifier to this new adjustment layer, which will darken the bottom of the buildings. Adjust further using opacity under the transform panel. And then I'm just going to repeat that process for the sky by duplicating our adjustment layer or creating a new one, going into the pen tool using the G shortcut and adding a curves modifier under the effect panel. The sky will appear more blue in color than the building. I'm going to switch over to the blue channel and drag that up to add more of a blue color to the sky. You can see it here starting to create more of a twilight scene, but there's still a few adjustments that we're going to need to make to turn it into a nighttime scene. Let's do that by adding a new adjustment layer and tracing around the windows, which are still a little bright, using the pen tool found under the G shortcut. I'm then going to go in and add a curves modifier over the top of this, and drag the bar down on the right hand side to make the scene darker. This is working well to remove the cloud reflections from the window frame to create a nighttime scene. Previewing this now, it looks quite good. But one last thing left to do is the original image had a vignette border, so I'm just going to crop that out for the final image. This is the final result, our nighttime scene of the Skipping Girl Vinegar sign. So that was how to create a nighttime scene using Adobe After Effects from a daytime set image. Next, I'm going to show you how to export or render that image or video using both Adobe After Effects and Adobe Media Encoder.